Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome to Martyn Lucas's channel. My name is Sensei Crypto, and I'm here to do my Sunday show. So it is the Sunday show. I'm going to remove the banner that says Martyn's on holiday as he is back now. I will have to adjust this, however. Let's make sure that's running all the way through. But yes, welcome everyone. I am back for my Sunday show. I'll be doing this every week. So thank you all for joining me. Today we're going to be discussing the obvious, which is Bitcoin going up 15% in a day. We'll be discussing, that's something I didn't predict, but then we'll also be discussing something I did predict, which was the S&P coming down, and another thing such as gold going up. And we're going to see how we should plan for the week ahead. So thank you all for joining me. There has been a daylight savings, I think, that clocks have gone back in the UK. So instead of being 9 p.m, it's 8 p.m. today. I will see how that goes, and maybe we'll keep it at this time, or we'll have it at the normal 9 o'clock UK time. But thank you all for joining. We didn't want to change the time as that might confuse people. So thank you all for joining. Please let me know if you are here. Do hit the like button. If you are watching in the not live and you're watching later on, do leave a comment down below. I want to see if anyone is watching these streams after. So if you are, just drop a comment in the comment section. I'll make sure to reply. It'll be nice to see. So let's get straight into it. I do have your comments up on the screen. So if you do have anything, do let me know, and I'll bring it up on the screen. So starting off with silver, I was having a look at silver. Is it underperforming gold? Yes, it is. So silver is underperforming gold. So is that the next trade to take? Maybe. We can look at the gold and silver ratio. As you can see, it's going up, meaning silver is gold is outperforming silver. Silver chart, obviously it has followed gold. However, it hasn't broken out. It's still around 30% away from its highs in 2020, and also the all-time highs on silver. So 30% away from the highs in 2020, and from the all-time highs, silver is about 112% from its highs. Compare that to gold, and we're looking at gold about 4% from its highs in 2020, and also basically that's the all-time high as well. So you can see silver has been underperforming gold. I do personally invest in both. Maybe it's time to weigh up the silver investment. Obviously gold will go up first, and that should trickle down into silver. We have now seen the trade of gold play out perfectly. If I can explain what I mean by that, is we saw this dump on gold, and then over here on this candle I expected a V-shaped recovery. We got that. Then the next thing to break was the supply line. We got that. The next thing to break was this line here. We did break it. There was resistance here, which was pointed out. It was the final buying opportunity, and now we're back above this resistance. So the only last support resistance line is at $2,049, and then we can very quickly break the all-time highs around $2,074. So this is what I'm looking for gold. It might cool off a bit. There hasn't been major escalations in the war. Obviously there has been a ground invasion of Gaza. There's a child dying every 10 minutes. That is the stat I just saw on the news. So that is still horrendous. There is still chance of escalation. That in itself is an escalation. So maybe gold will cool off tomorrow. But I do think this rally will continue and until the end of the year and going into next year. Another thing that we've been saying is Bitcoin dominance will be going higher. This has been a textbook Wyckoff accumulation. You can type that into the internet and see what I mean by that. But basically it's accumulation structure. You have the spring, and then you finally break that support, you come and retest it, and now we're back off. We've had this rally. We're at 54%. I've been saying for the longest time I expect this to come between 54.6 to 55%. Maybe it will go higher, but that's my first targets. And then the final target will be around that 60% mark. And this may also start cooling off now. But this is the chart that I've been talking about when I say when Bitcoin goes up, altcoins go up less. When Bitcoin comes down, altcoins go down more. So basically, however Bitcoin moves, the altcoins will outperform Bitcoin, whether that's to the upside, or if Bitcoin's coming down, the altcoins will come down more, and that's reflected in this chart here. Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin is taking more of the market share. This typically happens in the bear market year, and it's continuing to play out now. I've always said if you wanted to invest in anything in this bear market, it was Bitcoin and XRP. XRP purely because of the law case, which has been outperforming the market, and Bitcoin solely because we looked at the chart the other week at the capitulation, at the anger phase, and at the final capitulation. The best, the only thing you can really buy in the first two is Bitcoin, and my stance has always been Bitcoin under 20,000 is a buy. I do believe we'll come and test 20,000. I still do believe that, but I would not be buying it at these levels. Now let's have a look at the start of the show. Bitcoin at 34,600. So yes, it did finally break that 31,600 mark, and it had followed through. A lot of shorts taken out, a lot of speculation on this ETF. Whether or not this ETF comes, maybe it comes and then we see a Bitcoin at 40,000 or 46,000, but we'll quickly see it roll over as it's more of a sell the news event. Obviously some money will come in, but people will move on to the next trade, and Bitcoin will start coming down. And if it doesn't and if the ETF doesn't come anytime soon, then we can see this rolling over as well. So I don't think we're going to get much more from Bitcoin. I do think we've sort of are around the highs. Maybe we get one last push to liquidate some more shorters. But I think 35,500 is the top for this year. And I do think we'll start coming back to 28,000, 25,000 and 20,000. So I'm still not... I'm not FOMOing in. No one should FOMO in. We've been holding Bitcoin. We've said Bitcoin's the only safe one to hold, including XRP, purely because of the law case that has now been resolved and XRP is higher. So I've been happy holding XRP and Bitcoin, and I'm certainly happy to see this move. But I also will be taking profits. I'll be announcing something in the Discord for our challenge, maybe today or tomorrow. So yeah. I do expect this move not to last very much longer. At some point, Bitcoin will realize what the S&P is doing, and it can't ignore it for too much longer, because you look at the S&P and the S&P is moving down. It's had some bad days. Of course, the S&P can get a bounce, but how much longer can Bitcoin ignore the broader markets? I don't think too much longer. And once again, this is a trade we had last time I was live with you guys. We said, ignore this one because it's the first move down. We didn't get the follow through. We expected to come to 4,400. We missed it by a few dollars. Anyway, the real trade was breaking this trend line again. And ever since the trend line was broken, the trade was active, down 4%. I do expect to come down to $4,075 on the S&P 500. And then we'll see where we go from there. Obviously, my longer term goals are now coming in place, where we can get to 3,700, 3,400. However, we need to break, as I've always said, those are my longer term goals, but let's focus on the day to day, as we need to break certain levels before we talk about those levels. For example, $4,070 is the take profit of this trade, and also the level to break to come down lower. I do think in time we will come down lower. However, we might get a bounce before we do. Let's have a look. If everyone can hit the like button, it's a very quiet show. I think it might be because of the time difference. We have had the clocks go back in the UK. We've only got 7 people watching, I think. So let me refresh that and make sure that's right. Yeah, we've got 7 people watching. However, we've got 10 likes. So thanks for liking. Thanks for joining the show. Do let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, we've got 7 people watching. However, we've got 10 likes. So we had some playback, just checking the stream was okay. So yeah, that's the S&P 500, and then you move on to something like the Nasdaq, and it's a similar story. 786, and we're coming down. Let me just point out again, the S&P did top where the money supply has topped out in 2019, in 2022. And that's one of the reasons I called the top this time. And you can see there's a lot lower it can go. It can go to the same lows as COVID, maybe 2018 lows, maybe not the COVID lows in comparison to the M2 because so much money was printed, but maybe around the lows of 2022. So it's a chart to keep an eye on, and I will be doing that and bringing the data to you guys. The DXY, as I've said, is probably cooling off. It might come to the end of that cooling off. Let's see how many weeks it's been cooling off, because I said it can cool off for a couple of weeks. Maybe this week is the week that the DXY starts moving back up, or maybe it's the week after. But I do expect, so here we go, this is the altcoin market. Everything is moving up today. The altcoins, some of the money from Bitcoin is flowing to altcoins. This is probably going to be short-lived. Sandbox up 10%, Algo up 5%. Remember, these altcoins have come down 50% in the last few months, so a 3% move isn't that great. Audius is down 3%, Matic is up 2%, XRP is up 2.5%. It's nice to see, but it's probably all going to be short-lived. Bitcoin is up 1.5%. So yes, I think Bitcoin will probably top out 35,000, 35,500, and maybe 36,200. Those are my targets for topping out. You can see the trades I'm personally taking is over here. I'm short on Bitcoin and BNB. I am down currently 6% and 3%. So I'll see how those positions go, but I'll keep you updated. And if we look at coinmarketcap.com, that will help us see some other coins. Bitcoin's up 15% in the last 7 days. Ethereum's up 10. BNB's up 5. XRP's up 7. Solana's up 14. So let's see what the highest performer in the top 100 is Minacoin. Martin mentioned this as well. I'm not sure what the coin is. Pepe is back up 54%. That's not good news in terms of it shows that the money coming in isn't smart money. You've then got Gala up 53%. Floki again up 39%. So there is a lot of movement. However, there's also coins down, and it's mostly, it's actually not many coins. It's only TON down 5%. So the crypto market is looking good. I'd be taking profits at this point. It's more of a short squeeze. It's ETF news, which isn't confirmed. Of course, if it does get approved, yes, we can see $40,000 Bitcoin. However, it will probably be a sell the news event, because there's just not enough liquidity in the market, and especially when the S&P 500 is looking like what we've just seen, not looking very good. It will probably just lead to a sell-off, and that might mark the last capitulation of this bear market, and that might be the best time to buy. So let's have a look at the comments. I'm also going to post the link of, that's fine. Okay, so Craig is here. Hi, Zedthink, Martin Sensei. Zedthink was here first. Okay, need to know what's the plan for this week, inbound. It was like this last year as the time has changed, but we are 1 week behind in the USA. Oh, right. Okay, so next week it will not hopefully go back to normal. Seth Houston, hey, how do you do, everyone? Welcome, Seth Houston, to the show. Martyn Lucas says, the next week will be quieter as people have their schedules. Check out my tribute to Matthew Berry. So please do check out Martyn's music channel. What do we think for SBC next week? So let's have a look. If you've just joined, do hit the like button. It's a quiet show, so we're trying to get the normal audience back in. And if you've missed the beginning of the show, please do rewind. But basically what I've been saying is Bitcoin has gone up. I didn't really expect it, more of a short squeeze. ETF news I expect to top out around these levels. The S&P has come down like expected, gold has gone up like expected. The Bitcoin can't ignore S&P 500 too much longer unless the ETF news comes out quickly, which I don't expect it to do so. So I do expect Bitcoin to come back to reality and see what's going on with the broader markets. But yeah, let's look at SBC. So it all comes down to, if you were watching the stream when we were talking about the short squeeze for Friday, the one thing we didn't get, unfortunately, was a close. It's all about technical analysis, and we didn't see that close above 184, 183. This was the candle here we're looking for, and I said, okay, not the best start. However, if you want to see this short squeeze on Friday, let's see a close of a candle, another follow through to around $1.90. If we don't break the $1.84, do expect to come down to 150 or maybe lower. And all we didn't even break that level the day after or the week after. It was just a continued sell-off. At that next candle, you'd probably have to be out the trade. And as I said, the more times you test 150, the more likely you are going to move below it. Unfortunately, we tested 150 again, and we broke through it. So the good news is you might be coming up to the next level of support, which we've already drawn in, between 138 and 133. The bad news is you break that, it's really about $1.10, $1 is a neck territory, and then you're getting dangerous going below $1. So I guess I wouldn't be buying on this candle here. Maybe I'd be buying now. It's all about when's the best time to buy and when's the best time to sell. $4.11 was the best time to sell, going down. Then there was a couple of opportunities around $2.50 to make some trades. Then the next opportunity was the 150 level, which was a trade as well. And then there was an opportunity presenting itself for a short squeeze. However, the technicals didn't play out, and it was very obvious to get out the trade. So then you save yourself another 24%, and then now you're in a position where it might be another time to try your luck with a trade or a long-term position. So yeah, we are coming into a level of support again, 138 to 133, and as I've always said with SBC, it's you buy it in a when it's going down. You don't FOMO, and that's the most important thing. The next thing is buying it at support, for example 150, to either add to your long-term bags, or if it goes up quick enough, you sell it as a trade. At 150, that was the level to buy, 151. And then there was multiple times, for example, hit 150, I think that day there or close enough to it. You made 16% in 2 days, then yes, you sell it. Again, you hit 150, you make 20% in 3 days, yes, you sell it, because you've seen how many times you've lost with SBC, so you make those trades. If it went sideways, then you might consider holding it for your long-term bag. However, now we're coming up to another level where we might get a bounce. It's around this 135. And again, if you come back to 150, for example, in a couple of days, at 10% move in a day, you'll sell. So maybe we're coming back into an entry position, but remember to minimize to remember there is a risk. You can lose your money with SBC. It's happened time and time again, and you can be coming down to $1 very quickly as well. So it depends how much risk you want to take on. Yes, there is a support level around this 135 mark, but it can also, bad news comes out, you're straight to $1. So if you can't afford to keep putting money into SBC, don't. What we think for SBC for next week? Flights, earnings, good week. We're thinking, yeah. I mean, if there is flights and the earnings are good, again, we are at a support zone, so they might come together, and 135 might be the best buying opportunity ever, or it might not be. But yes, as I've explained, there is support there. You can take a chance with it. Hi everyone, you're on a bit earlier. Unfortunately, we're going off US time right now, TRL. Are you in the US or in the UK? Because times have gone back an hour, but we're keeping to the schedule, and hopefully it realigns itself by next week. Seth Houston, I have been a bit been curious to ask you, Sensei, if you know anything about crypto token Sweat. I don't know too much about it, but it seems intriguing. It's backed by a physical movement. Would love your thoughts. Unfortunately, I've never heard about it, Seth. I have explained before that even though I do look at some specific tokens, I'm more just about technical analysis. I like to analyze the markets, the sentiment, the social risk, and see where the money is moving rather than looking at specific coins. However, there's a few coins I look into, especially the ones which I think have big gains in place. So Sweat, unfortunately, I haven't heard of, so I can't give you too much thought about it. I can have a look at it. We can look at the chart, I mean. I was just trying to see if I can pull up the website, but I'd rather just look at the chart. So yeah, it has been an uptrend, which is good. But also it's probably down over like 90% or something. And we've got some tests coming through, which is great. Yeah, so Sweat token is down 92%.
John donated $11. This is a test donation for $11.
You're in the CS Central Standard Time. Yeah, I'm not sure about the time zones. They always confuse me, but this is... Normally I'm live 9 o'clock UK time. However, I'm going live at 8 o'clock UK time. It's the time that was normally scheduled, so it was always showing the correct time on YouTube. I'm not sure about your time zone. But you're here with us, so you found the stream, which is great. If everyone can hit the like button, it will help other people that might be confused about the time zone. Hopefully it pops up on their YouTube homepage. So Sweat, it's a hard one because it just keeps going down. But this is a token with a low market cap, so if it's one that you believe in, then it's at a $200 million market cap. It can go to 2 billion, but at the same time, 200 million is fairly high, so you're not really expecting the 100x. Unfortunately, I can't give you too much technical analysis on this. It's more a token that you may believe will solve a problem in the future and is something for next bull run. Something to research yourself. It's just interesting because you earn tokens by walking. Right now, around 5,000 steps a day, and you get a token so free. Oh, that's interesting actually. Let's have a look. You've now made me intrigued. Yeah, I mean, if you're making free money, then it's great. Let's have a look at this. Economy of movement. 140 million users in Web 2 and Web 3. So this is interesting. So they've already done the NFTs, fiat on ramp by Sweat and crypto with fiat, which is a good way to get more money in. Adding further rewards for staking. I wouldn't really... decentralized governance. Inactivity fee. Okay, so if you don't walk, they're going to take some of your money away. Interesting. In 2024, they want to do new movement validators, for example, cycling and swimming. So you have 12 of these coins, but these coins are fairly worthless, aren't they? They're less than a cent. So you might have 12 cents, is that right? Steph Houston, do you have 12 cent worth of this? Depends. I mean, if it gives you a good bonus, then it's... Let's look at the token. You can buy it on KuCoin, crypto.com. Okay, this is interesting. I'm going to add it to my watch list because this is something that can get a lot of hype. Not because I want to start earning the tokens. I mean, do that. I mean, you might be able to hold it and make money. But the main reason is this is something that I could see attract a lot of people. And a lot of people might think it's a great idea, just like how I've initially reacted to it. And when there's a lot of people looking at crypto, they might have the first initial reaction like me and decide to buy some. And at that point, the market cap could be moving really fast, while people are sort of start FOMOing into the coin and thinking it's the next best thing, which it might be, but it's more about the sentiment, and that's the way I look at it. And if we're down 98%, then just going back to something like, I mean, we won't go back to where ICO'd at 10 cent, but you can go back to somewhere like 4 cent, which is like that's fairly easy for it to do in maybe even in a bear market, go up 200%. So yes, this is interesting. When did this coin come out? Oh, it came out in 2022. They didn't wait for a bull market to release the token, which is good. Okay, well, I'm going to research it more, and I'll look for buy zones for it for myself and maybe my Discord community. Yeah, it's not worth much at the moment, but yes, you do say it can grow, but also remember the market cap's already at 200 million, so it's not a small market cap coin. I think it's number 350 in the list of coins. We'll be ending the show in about 20 minutes, so please do let me know any questions you guys have. Yes or not worth? Yes, it can grow, Seth Houston, especially if you're earning it for free. Tiro, could you explain your idea on M-phase being its support? I found it interesting because not totally obvious. M-phase, yeah. So M-phase was one that we were saying has a way down to go. It was sort of the opposite of Bitcoin dominance in terms of a topping out structure. And support wise, as you say, it's hard to see. However, this was the line in the sand and you broke it very quickly, and the first level of support would be basically it's the 2020 highs where we had a pullback. That is important because it was like the first high and then a pullback, and then that took you to that big rally. You had a lot of support here, accumulation. You tried to break out and you didn't, you failed, but then you came back up and broke through. So this level here is what I look at for the first level of support, and that's I think where we are at now, which is why I say we're at the first level of support. But yes, there's not like a clear level of support until you go back to maybe somewhere like around the $12, but I don't think anyone thinks we're going to $12 on M-phase, so you have to start looking at different levels. My next level is back at the 2019 highs at $34, but again, that seems a touch unrealistic. And again, this sort of rectangle of support also corresponds to 2020 highs before we got a move down. So it's really this around between $70 and $80 is the first level of support. So if I go into a weekly chart, you can visualize it a bit better. It's this. You can see it here. I'm not sure if you can see the wicks very well, but we have wicked it here. And then over here we spent some time. So that's why I'm calling it a level of support. And then again, you then have to look at the RSI on the weekly, which is oversold. So you're sort of at a level of support, you're oversold. You're basically, the MACD has probably come down a lot as well. Let's bring on to the MACD. Oh, I need to upgrade to what? I'm already on a premium plan. I pay so much for all these services, and it's ridiculous that they don't allow me to have another. Yeah, I mean, just by looking at the RSI, you can see it's oversold, and here's the support dating back to 2020. So I can expect a bounce to come back to 110 maybe, and then it can start going back down to maybe $60, somewhere around there would be the next level. If you don't like to look at rectangles, then you can look at specific levels like this. You've got the $80, $70, and around $60. Okay, let's have a look at a few of the stocks. Let's see how they're performing. So Amazon obviously had a great earnings, must-be-an earnings. It was up 6%, but in that same day, I think, if we go on the daily chart, it was the day before we actually hit our first take profit from the short. So that's great news for everyone on Discord. We managed to hit our first take profit. So some profits were taken. We've then got Meta, which is, I don't think it's going anywhere above $325. Apple, which is still below its supply line. If you go into daily, nowhere near it. It's now actually breaking the, which one is this? 300-day? No, 200-day moving average. It's now below it, which isn't good news. Tesla again, around that $200 mark. We've said there's support, so let's see if it reacts and goes higher. Microsoft has topped out. Nasdaq has also seemed to have topped out. McDonald's rolling over again. DXY, maybe it starts going up next week. Google topped out. Look at it gapping down now. We've called the top on this as well. The S&P 500 again had the short and play, take profit at 4,070. We might start getting a bounce towards the end of the week. What else do we have? AMC is a joke. Coca-Cola started to roll back down. It's had its reaction. Is that it for Coca-Cola? Is that all it can do from reacting to the support? We will find out next week. It seems like it wants to start rolling over as well. It seems to have, that's all the reaction we've seemed to have got. I mean, let's look at a Fibonacci retracement. It didn't even get to a 50% retrace. It's looking weak, unfortunately. Rivian, who would buy Rivian when there's Tesla? That's on its way to all-time lows, to be honest. The Russell 2000, which is basically all the stocks I think a lot of people here hold, high risk. You can see it's back to its 2020, 2019, 2020 highs before the crash, so that's not looking good. That's come down a lot. It's broken this wedge structure, and it looks like it's going to come down another. If it doesn't bounce here, it's probably going to come down another 13% in a relatively quick period of time. We then have Berkshire Hathaway, which is now also coming down. It's testing its 200-day moving average. Let's see if that bounces. Netflix is rolling over. It had a good earnings. Now it's probably going to come back down, rolling over. Palantir, I think someone just asked, do you have any thoughts about Palantir? Yes, I do. We've said that this was the top for the Palantir for this run, and I also believe we're probably coming down to $14 before we get any reaction. And if we don't react at $14 this time, $12 is where the moving average is, so maybe that's the next buy point. But I think that's going to continue to roll over. MicroStrategy is coming down. ARK Invest is at this nearing its low risk, high value zone. But yes, again, if everything does come down, then ARK Invest has all of this to go down. But it's at support. A lot of others aren't at support. You can justify buying ARK, but you can't justify buying Google or Microsoft. Or we have a look at Nvidia, but Nvidia we said was going to roll over a long time ago after that earnings. Yeah, not looking good. Nvidia, expect that to come back down to $300 relatively quickly. It's topping out. Nvidia is going to lead the market down as well. It's still holding up, but it's on thin ice. You drop, all you have is the moving average at 350, and then you have to close that gap around $300. So you can lose $100 of value in Nvidia very quickly. J&J coming down. It's now broken support. Where can you go? Well, we broke support a while ago, so there might be some support coming up for J&J, 143. Kenvue, it broke the supply line, but it wasn't just strong enough to hold it, so you've just, unfortunately, now all-time lows for Kenvue, $18. You can't do any technical analysis on this anymore because it's just down, down, down. There's no levels, there's no past levels. The trend's your friend and the trend is going down. PayPal rolling over. The whole markets look terrible. I mean, that doesn't mean you can't get a bounce, but everything's losing support. Rocket Lab, we expected that to go down, and now it's back at its support. So maybe Rocket Lab is more low risk than others. Let's look at Tilray. We've been saying that's going to come down for a long while, and finally it's closed its gap. So maybe that's at a level. I've been saying stay away from Tilray all around these $3 mark, and if you stayed away then and you really wanted to get in, now's your chance. You've saved yourself 25%, or actually more. You've saved yourself 50%, I think, 45%. So maybe now it's a better time to buy, not up here. Fiverr down. Now that's at support as well. If everything continues to roll over, Fiverr won't survive either. Coinbase down. Again, you hit the take profit for the long. And SBC, the trend is just down. We've said the trend is down. We've said 150 is the level. We broke $4. It was as a short. I mean, the trend's your friend, and all you can try and do with SBC, if you really like it, is to buy it at support. If you really like it, then you've got the opportunity to hold it for your long-term bag. However, if you make 20% in 3 days, then sell it. And that's the levels I've said to buy. Me and Martin both said 150. You went up 17% in 3 days, sell. You came to 150 again. You went up 20% in 3 days, sell. There's no point holding for your long-term bag. You've just made 20% in 3 days. Now you saved that money. We're coming back to another level of support. This time it might go up 20% and you will sell because you've made 20% in a week, or it might just blast through this support and go down another 25%. And at that point, you can justify you tried to buy it at a level of support, but you didn't manage to, so you're holding it for your long-term portfolio. I have been bearish on these markets, and they have been coming down now. That doesn't mean they're going to continue to come down. It was a much better opportunity to sell at this arrow here when I was live on the show. Now there's been a reaction. We are now down 11% on the S&P, and that corresponds to a lot more on the smaller market cap. So yes, I still believe we're going to come down lower. Yes, there can also be a bounce. You're in no man's land now. The trades were when everyone's buying, you sell. Now when everyone's selling, I wouldn't start saying sell your portfolio. With crypto, I think I just saw a question. Is Bitcoin continues bullish the way it's been? Could you see Ethereum hitting 2,500 area at all before it all comes back down? Probably not. Bitcoin, again, I think it's topping out around 35,000, 35,500, 36,000, anywhere around this area. Maybe 5% up more it can go. I think it's going to top out. I don't think you can ignore the broader markets. Unless the ETF news comes out, which I probably don't think it will until next year, this hype will fade. If the ETF comes out, great, we've missed our opportunity. We've still hold some Bitcoin in our portfolio, but that will fade because there's no liquidity in these markets. All this Bitcoin pump really is the money from altcoins going into Bitcoin, because when you look at Bitcoin dominance, you can see that's continuing to go higher no matter which way Bitcoin goes. Now you're looking at ETH. We look at ETH. Ethereum against Bitcoin, that's just going down because ETH is much weaker than Bitcoin, and I expect that to come back down another at least, and that's my base case, at least another 15%. That means if Bitcoin stays exactly the same price it is now, Ethereum will come down 15%. So unless Bitcoin goes up 30%, I don't think Ethereum's going to hit 2,500. Not at all. I really don't think so. 2,000 is probably the top. If Ethereum goes that high, I'd be selling every single piece of Ethereum. I just don't think, I think it's too risky to be holding Ethereum anything above $2,000. I'll start offloading it straight away if we hit 2,000. I don't hold any, but if I did, 2,500, I don't see it happening, but that's just my opinion. Let's have a look. See how many people are watching. We've got 10 watching, 20 likes, so thank you all. If you haven't already liked, please do hit the like button. We're going for another 10-15 minutes, so do get your questions in. We've done Palantir, we've done Ethereum. Can you check IMAB? IMAB. We'll have a look at that. Could it be realistic? Could it be a realistic double bottom? Or how dangerous? Open a position recently. Okay, let's have a look at it. So you haven't got a reaction yet, so I personally wouldn't have. Okay, it's another one that's just been hammered. So yeah, I'm sure you expect that this is something that can continue its trend down, but it's just in the case if it is the double bottom, you can make some good gains. The RSI is not telling us much. Oh, didn't mean to do that. So this RSI has been oversold. It's been more oversold when this stock was at $7. Now it's at $1. So the RSI is not really that helpful. I mean, go for it. You might see something I don't. I'd like to see some bullish divergence or a bit of a reaction. It's a higher high on the RSI, high on the chart. Yeah, there's nothing I really see for a great trade. I mean, if you're taking a trade, the only thing I'd say is make sure that stop loss is in place, $1.16. If you break below that, below like $1.15, then it's obviously invalid. Unless obviously you get bullish divergence, but you can re-enter the position. If you're in the position, stay in the position, just make sure you have that stop loss, and then if it starts going higher, you're looking to take some profits maybe at the W structure here, and then hopefully you might get a reaction down, enter a bit more there, and then when you blast through here, $1.77, $2, $2.62. So good luck with the trade. Nothing I personally see as something worth taking myself, but if you're in it, that's great. It might pay off nicely because it's dumped so much. So good luck to you. Have you ever, or would you ever invest in any tokens before they hit the crypto exchanges? And so is it too risky? Can you look into fund token? Yeah, I wouldn't. It's too risky, especially in these times. Maybe in the bull market when everything goes up, but I would not do that right now. Fund token. Fund token. I've never heard of this, but I can't find it on Coin Market Cap. Let's look at Trading View. Also has a reward system for engagement with brands. Not holding right now, but on watch list. Fund token. PHUN. Fun maybe? Fun USD. No, sorry, I don't have it. It must be PHUN. Yeah, sorry, I don't know where that's come. I don't have that token, unfortunately, Craig. Wondering because before I started really learning, I made the mistake of getting into crypto during the hype of 2021, and my ETH average is 2,442. My ETH average was 400, and I was annoyed because I could afford to follow. So I'd prefer to sell and buy back instead of DCA. 2,400. I mean, I would start DCAing out of it rather than DCAing in. What would I do? I mean, you've learnt your lesson now, so it's more just maybe hold it. I mean, Ethereum's probably going to go there in a couple of years' time, and then if you have money to buy back lower, do that. If you don't have the money, if you get $2,000, sell it. If you get $1,900, sell it, and then buy back to at least come down to 1,000, in my opinion. But again, none of this is financial advice. It's just what I would do if I was in your position. I think Ethereum will come down to $1,000. If you have the money, then you can buy back down there and have no risk of missing out, because I'm sure you can get your money back in 2 years' time. It's just maximizing those profits. So if you have money, if I had, let's just say in my situation, if I had an average of 2,400, if I had more money to buy down at $1,000, then I would mitigate the risk, hold this position, buy back at 1,000 if it gets there. If it doesn't get there, at least I know in a few years' time I will get my money out of Ethereum at a higher price than 2,500. If I didn't have any money and I needed to mitigate, and I don't have more money to buy down Ethereum, if it comes to $1,000, I'll take the risk. I'd sell it around now, and I would already place my limit orders: 1,200, 1,800, 1,400, anywhere to just make sure I get my position back. I think it's on pre-sale on the website right now. Current market cap 45 million. I wouldn't touch it. Not in a bear market, not for me. I appreciate, but again, that might be a coin that goes to $1 billion, and I don't want you to say this was a coin that I found and you said no, you wouldn't do it, and I missed out on becoming a millionaire. Do what you want. I'm just saying, personally, that's not something I get involved with. Maybe I should be getting involved with it. Maybe it's a moneymaker, but just the way I trade, I don't like pre-sales. I don't like these sort of things in the bear market. I appreciate your opinion. Definitely something to think about. No worries at all, Seth Houston. So we're coming to the end of the show. I might do a show. I'll speak to Martyn. If there's some action in the markets, I might come on and do a show between Martyn's opening and closing, just to give you guys an update on the charts. Or again, I might call into Martyn's show. So oil is something else to look out for. Maybe that starts rallying this week. Not that it's at a specific level. I mean, you're holding this as support. Oil has been sort of underperforming the market. Well, it's been outperforming the market, but like, for example, gold's been going up and oil hasn't. So I would keep an eye on oil. If anything escalates, oil will start going up. Gold, again, something to keep an eye on. Maybe again, like last Monday, a little bit of sell-off, and then by the end of the week, it's back up. We could see all-time highs on gold in the next month. In November, there might be all-time highs on gold, so that's something to look forward to. Bitcoin dominance, whatever happens with crypto, in the long run, in the next 3 to 6 months, Bitcoin dominance is going to go higher, in my opinion. And yes, we're seeing some altcoins go up. But remember, these altcoins have come down a lot as well in recent times. So this could just be a bounce. Bitcoin, of course, major breakout, but I don't think it can go up much higher. Of course, we've always, if you remember in June and July when we were breaking 31,000, I did say we break that, we are going up very quickly, and we did. Not then, but we did now. It was just come unexpected. We weren't short on Bitcoin. Oh, actually, last Saturday I opened a short on Bitcoin. But this is why it's so important to have stop losses. I had a stop loss that prevented me from getting liquidated at a 3% loss. I also then quickly managed to find the momentum, and then I opened a long, closed at 34,400. So I made that money back plus more. But now I've shown you my positions. I'm now short on Bitcoin and BNB. So maybe every time I open a position live on the show, some big whale wants to make me look silly. So once again, I need to add some stop losses into that. This is a position, nothing massive, but I might start trying to do a 1k to 10k challenge on the trading as well. So that's something you might want to look forward to. So yeah, Bitcoin, don't think it will go much higher than another 10%. That's about it. Just remember, everything's underperforming Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin dominance is going higher. That's why Bitcoin Ethereum is heading lower. And I think we've come to the end of the show. So let's play the music. Unfortunately, with the time zone, we threw a few people off, but that should be all sorted by next week, if not definitely the week after. We got our 20 likes, which is great. 11 people watching, so I'll come back next week with some more information. I'll do some more research before, so I can come with some ideas, but this time I want to just go through all the technical analysis for all the stocks, crypto, and things that happened this week, because it was an eventful week. We didn't predict the Bitcoin breaking higher, however we predicted the S&P going lower and the gold going up. So 2 out of 3 is great. Tyrol, great show. See you. Thanks Tyrol, thanks for tuning in. Thank you all. I did miss it, so I'm glad to be back for the Sunday show. A quick burst of information before the week starts. I hope it helps. Remember, everything's rolling over, but there could be a bounce. We're sort of in no man land. There's a few trades to take, but not massive ones. There will be good days will return. The crypto bull run is around the corner, another 6 months to go. I've been waiting 3 years now for it to come back, and we're nearly there. We've got a glimpse of what Bitcoin can do last week, and it'll be 10 times better than that. Stocks are rolling over, but that just presents some new opportunities. Yes, I believe they can go down lower, but at better prices than there were a few years ago. So there's opportunity. We'll cover it. It'll get more exciting over the next. Again, it's that end of year, beginning of next year, where there'll be a lot of opportunities, in my opinion. So that's to look forward to. Craig, great job, Sensei. See you all tomorrow. Yes, we'll be joining Martyn tomorrow. So I wish you guys all the best of luck with your trades. But basically, until next time, take care of your money. Take care of your stocks. Take care of your crypto. And most importantly, and it is most importantly, take care of each other. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.